Hello there, my name is Grayling Barraclough and welcome to another presentation from the Broader View. Quote, there isn't anything that you have, there isn't anything that you ever had or ever hoped to have that they're not planning on taking away. They want everything that you have and they're in the process of taking it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Anthony J Hilder. Hi Anthony.
Hello my friend. You know, I was taking a look at a shake of hands, and I thought, everybody else has one. How about one for victory?
One for victory, absolutely. Yeah, great stuff. Yeah.
We have to take an offensive stance because we are being warred upon. But we, the people of England and the United States, are not waging an offensive operation. There's never been any battle that's been fought anywhere over anything that's been won defensively. We have to take the information that we have. It's overwhelming to convict these people for high crimes. Treason. The President of the United States and the Prime Minister of England have committed acts of high treason. They should be in jail. Certainly not in a position of telling us what to do and surrendering our rights. I don't
the vote, but there was no vote.
See, it's like a man's, promising, oh, listen, everything's going to be all
right.
right.
Do you know what the worst thing is, though? We were promised a vote, there was no vote, and for most people, they're too busy shopping or watching television, watching mindless game shows or dancing competitions on television to even notice that there ever was an issue to vote on.
Gray, there's one thing I did notice. Right here in England, people were walking along, talking, laughing, joking, drinking a beer and going to the pub. But the newspaper had British sovereignty, talking, dead from the neck down. No, dead from the neck up. Zombies. You think, it's got to be the whole body that isn't functioning. And then you say, no, they function all right. They're just not thinking. You've got to put your thinking cap on. You've got to incite a revelation. And that's what you guys are doing in all of the operations that I've seen from the UK column with Brian Gerrish, Ian Crane, and this Alternative View 3. And now, here in St. Anne's, in Blackpool.
Blackpool, the Broader View.
The Broader View,
yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Now, you've been, so you're a journalist, just for, a lot of people in the UK may not have heard of you. Obviously, you're very big in America, but in this country, you're not as big. Your work's not as well known. So you've been a journalist, a filmmaker, and you've been doing this since the 1960s, is that correct?
Yeah.
And you've been getting this message out since around that time?
Well, I produced the Illuminati CFR records in 1967.
That's an amazing time. I wasn't even a glint in the milkman's eye in the 1960s, so it's fantastic to know that someone has been actually doing this work for that long.
Well, when I see a guy as young as my son, as handsome as this guy is, as dramatic as he is, I know that there's a future. But there's not going to be a future for your son, or your daughter, or your grandchildren. They're taxed to death. I'm coming up here, and I'm asking the fellow who's been filming me, Matthew Williams, about the gas. 80% tax.
Yeah, the petrol.
This is insanity. It's insane that you accept it. It's insane that you tolerate the intolerable, that you accept the unacceptable. It's nuts. I'm in zombie land out here.
Yeah.
This nation has been filled with the mines with Novocaine. It's a Novocaine nation. They're just like in 1984, Orwell's, and it's Big Brotherment. They see the cameras all over, the 200 different views of you in the city within the city. What sort of insanity is in this country? What sort of numbness and dumbness? You think it's bad in the United States?
I always think whenever I've been to America, which is several times over the last few years, I always think it's better over there than it is over here. I also think the people are more switched on over there in a lot of cases, even though the media doesn't portray that. The people that I have met myself are much more switched on.
Absolutely, there's no question about it. We had a tax rally in the Federal Reserve.
Well, that's the other thing, if I could just jump in about America. When I have been over there, I've seen demonstrations in the streets. I've seen marches. I've heard about, in San Francisco when the war started, everyone went home for the day from work. I've noticed much more active people, and a more of a pleasant environment a lot of the time. I think the portrayal that we get of America is often wrong.
Well, America's a train wreck waiting to happen. Unless, of course, we have a revelation, unless we incite a revelation. Same thing here as it is over there.
Oh, it's about to go off the cliff, yeah, obviously.
This massive amount of information, the meeting I went to last night, where we first met with Sir James and company, I'm looking out, these people got the message. But outside the meeting hall, outside the AB3, outside the British Constitution group, the numbness, the dumbness, the sheeple. I see the sheep along the highway. I went over to the Rothschilds estate. Looking up there, my God, there's a group, this glass pyramid, like you see on the back side of the dollar bill. At the top, there is the Eye of Lucifer. I've heard about the processions of people dressed in black robes, royalty and rock stars.
Is this on the Rothschild estate?
Yes, absolutely. And and I'm thinking, why the hell hasn't some of you guys, like maybe yourself, why haven't you gone down there and got some of those pictures and explained what's going on with the Hellfire Club and this satanic agenda?
So let's just get into this then. If I can say, we see their acts. We see 9/11. We see 7/7. We see all these wars raging on across the world. So we know these people are doing some really, really bad things. But the big question is, who are they exactly, and what do they want? Now, some quotes from you are, their dwellings are brimming with Luciferian energy. Okay, that's one thing. The Illuminati are soul-possessed human devils. They're vampire bloodsuckers.
Well, they're vampires in the sense they suck your sustenance away. They print that fiat funny money. They simply manufacture it, lend it back to this government who charges interest on it. And the interest they charge you through the income tax, it's the second plank of the Communist Manifesto. They charge that, and every year, I think September, or not September, but April 5th, it's not April's Fool's Day, but you're a fool if you're going to continue to pay them your money. That tax that was initiated in this nation to pay the wars, pay for the wars. And they have to have an income tax to continue the war. I see the Queen, I see all of the guys, military guys walking stiff and